Thank you for joining us this evening, and welcome to this all-candidates debate sponsored by the Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce for the Coquitlam civic election to be held on November 19th, 2011. My name is Barrie Seaton. I will be the moderator this evening. I am a member of the Board of Directors for the Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce and the past chair for the year 2009 to 2010. At this time, I would like to outline the rules of contact and engagement for this debate. To open the session, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to make an opening statement, starting with the candidates for mayor, followed by the candidates for council in alphabetical order. For the candidates' benefit, our timekeeper, right in the middle of the fourth row there, will advise you when you have 30 seconds left, and again when there is 15 seconds left during your presentation. Cards will be held up at both warnings, and in an effort to be fair to all candidates, we will move to the next speaker as soon as your time has elapsed. We'd like to remind the audience this is your opportunity to ask the candidates to respond to concerns you may have about municipal and local matters right here in Coquitlam. Cards and pencils are available, so you're asked to submit your written questions to the members of the leadership team from the Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce who are in attendance tonight. So please pick up a card. When you've written down your question, hold them up, and they will be picked up and then passed to the podium. We will attempt to cover as many of the topics that are of concern to you in the amount of time we have tonight. If you would like to direct a question to a specific candidate, please indicate your wish on your question card, and he or she will be given the opportunity to respond, after which time we will revert back to the normal sequence of questioning based on alphabetical order. The open question part of the evening will be led off by some questions posed by the Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce Policy Committee. The questions will be posed to all candidates, and they will all be given the opportunity to respond. Candidates will be given 1 minute to respond to each question. If, however, any candidate does not wish to respond, we do ask that candidate to please indicate their wish to the moderator. Our plan is to wrap up the open question period of this debate at about 20 to 9, when each candidate will be given 1 minute for a wrap-up statement, starting with the candidates for council in reverse alphabetical order and finishing with the mayoral candidates. So we'd like to get started here, and we're going to start, as I mentioned, with the mayoral candidates in alphabetical order, and each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, starting with Mr. Lynch.
Good evening. My name is Barrie Lynch. I'm running to be the next mayor for the city of Coquitlam. I've served 3 terms on city council, and over those 9 years, I've listened to the residents and voted based on facts. In the last 2 years, I voted against the budget because I disagree with the process and the amount our taxes have gone up. Coquitlam needs a mayor with strong leadership qualities and abilities, and one will take a firm hand on property taxes. As a certified association executive, I understand the need to identify priorities within budget limits, and as mayor, I will be highly involved in providing stewardship for this process. As a procedural expert in Robert's Rules of Order and a professional presiding officer, I will ensure city council meetings are professional and respectful. Prior to entering politics, I was a justice of the peace who presided over bail hearings and reviewed search warrant applications. I was selected for this office based on my ability to make decisions, and those were based on facts. I will be decisive and continue to provide conscientious, considered, and competent decisions for Coquitlam. I believe that the mayor's office needs to listen to the community and be responsive to those concerns. Communication between city council and residents needs to be a priority. Many residents are demanding more input and communication with their council. As mayor, I will improve communication with residents, fellow council members, other city councils, and certainly the other levels of government. Thank you for the privilege of representing you for the past 9 years as a city councillor. I ask you for your continued support for me to be the next mayor for the city of Coquitlam. On November 19th, I ask you please elect Barrie Lynch mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Mr. Stewart.
Thank you very much. It's really an honor to be here tonight, and I want to begin, as I do at every all candidates meeting, by acknowledging all those people right up here who have put their name forward. Without good candidates running for public office, our democracy wouldn't work. And I see some real passion up here, some real thought. They've put a lot of thought into the issues that face Coquitlam, as many of you have, and I thank you all for that. I've lived all my life in this community. My wife and I are raising our 4 children here. Our 4 children have been involved in every facet of the community, and several of them have performed on this stage, although they may have think that they did better than their father will do. I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce for more than 20 years. I've been really involved in the business community, but in every other facet of this community as well. Our City Council has accomplished some great things, and it has been respectful. It has been professional, and it has achieved many of the goals that it set out to do. For example, we now have an evergreen line. It will be the only transit line named after a cultural center, and it will be a shovel in the ground within a year and completed in time for the 2016 BC Summer Games that we're bidding for. We've had great communications, and it's partly because of those improved relationships with other levels of government that we've been able to achieve these things. The Evergreen Line, the homeless shelter that finally is now funded. We had $18 million worth of paving grants from the federal government that we were able to capitalize on. It's better relationships that produce better public policy. And our council, I think, has done a great job at doing those things. We want to do better, and I urge you all to continue to give us your advice and give us your input on good public policy in the city of Coquitlam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. We'll now revert to the candidates for council, starting in alphabetical order. Mr. Asmussen, please.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brent Asmussen. I'm seeking re-election to Coquitlam Council on November 19th. Danielle and I have lived in Coquitlam for 21 years now, raised 2 children here, and I'm past president of the Northeast Coquitlam Ratepayers Association. I take my community seriously and improving the city of Coquitlam seriously. Transportation that works for you and for Coquitlam. Improved roads, Lougheed Highway, Barnett Highway, Schoolhouse, King Edward Overpass. Cycling and pedestrian network improvements. 11 kilometers of new cyclists and sidewalks and bike lanes. As a bus driver on a daily basis, I see the challenges of transit and transportation in our city to help keep us moving. I've been dedicated working at that. Moving forward the Evergreen Line to reduce congestion and greenhouse gases in our community. Working together for a safer community by increased police visibility that works to deter illegal activity, hiring more police officers, targeting prolific offenders, graffiti removal, programs and increased regulation fees for unwanted businesses, increased fire and rescue services, saving lives and protecting property, major transportation improvements providing safer roads for you and your family, working towards a healthy community, improving facilities to keep people of all ages active, involved, and healthy, prudent development now and for future generations, tackling homelessness by developing a broad range of affordable housing options for youth, families, and seniors, cold wet weather mat program, 30-unit women and children transitional housing that's under construction right now will be open in the spring, and in the future, a 30-bed homeless shelter. Let's continue working together for a healthier, safer, stronger community. On November 19th, vote Brent Asmussen for Coquitlam City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Asmussen. Mr. Delmonico.
Good evening. My name is Randy Delmonico. I've lived in Coquitlam for 23 years. I'd like to talk about a couple of the qualities that I think are important to do this job: leadership, decision-making, the ability to talk to people, but even more importantly, the ability to listen to people. I've worked for the City of Burnaby Fire Department most of my life. I've spent a lot of years in the actual running of that fire department, and I know how the city works. I bring many great ideas from the City of Burnaby with me, and if elected, I would like to share those ideas with council. My 10 years as a fire officer, I learned to make very difficult decisions quickly, and if I was wrong, someone could die. So I feel I'm very confident in my leadership ability. I've been a head coach in lacrosse for over 30 years, 11 years in junior A and 5 years in the Western Lacrosse Association. I'm used to that kind of pressure. I played in 1 World Championship, and I played and coached in 13 Canadian finals in 2 different sports. So I've learned over the years, I've bargained collective agreements with Metro Vancouver before, and I've learned over the years how to talk to people, but also how to listen. And I think that's something important that may not be done in Coquitlam as well as it could be, and that is that we need to listen to the neighborhoods when we are going in to make changes. We need to listen to the people that live there and find out what they want. So I'm happy to be here tonight, and I'm looking forward to election time on February 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delmonico. Mr. Hodge.
Hi, my name is Craig Hodge, and I'm running for a seat on City Council. And this is my first time running, but I've lived in this community for 46 years. And I just recently retired as a photojournalist at the Tri-City News, a paper that I helped to start. And during my 36 years as a photojournalist, I saw firsthand and reported on the issues that affect you. I'm a past president of this Chamber of Commerce, and I was later elected by the business community to serve a total of 6 years as a director of the British Columbia Chamber of Commerce. I accomplished a lot as my time as your chair and the years following that. In the face of public opposition, I supported the bid to get a casino to move here to Coquitlam when other cities didn't want it. Today, it's a destination and contributes almost $10 million annually to the city. As your transportation chair, I lobbied hard to make improvements to the old Cape Horn interchange. Rush hour traffic was so bad in the area that businesses in Pacific Reach were failing. I met with Premier Glenn Clark and convinced him to install those barricades down the middle of the Lougheed Highway to stop the queue jumping, because before that was in place, it was just, traffic was a standstill there during rush hour. And I also convinced them that we needed 2 additional on-ramps. Next, I tackled red tape at City Hall and was able to work with council to remove antiquated bylaws that were preventing home-based businesses from operating in Coquitlam. I launched a resident and business survey about amalgamating services and doing joint purchasing, and some of those recommendations are in place today. But there's still work to do. Businesses working in the Tri-Cities must take out multiple permits. Regulations can vary from one side of the street to the other, and business taxes are among the highest in BC. Property crime is a problem on United Boulevard, and industrial land is disappearing. Coquitlam needs a more aggressive economic development plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. MacDonell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Doug MacDonell, and I'm running for re-election for Coquitlam City Council. I'm a retired RCMP officer and have been a Coquitlam resident for over 50 years. I'm married to Kathy, and we're raising 2 sons, Devin and Jordan. I was first elected to City Council in 2005. My record proves that I stand for issues that matter to Coquitlam residents. Over the years, I voted for more parks and green space on Burke Mountain, to conserve the Riverview lands as a heritage site, expand the new town center library, hire more police officers in support of the RCMP's crime reduction strategy, ensure the fire department has the equipment they need to respond to emergencies in our city, to construct the King Edward Overpass, add more sidewalks in Coquitlam, support the homeless shelter at 3030 Gordon, build the town center sports field complex as well as the Poirier Arena renovations, and upgrade the community transportation plan. I want the same things for Coquitlam that you do. Responsible growth management of resources and infrastructure, including roads, services, facilities, and green space. Equal distribution of resources for all the areas of the city. Promote our business community, which provides opportunities for employment and economic growth. And did you know that the federal government predicts that immigration to the Greater Vancouver area over the next 20 years will bring in more than 1 million new residents? And at least 70,000 of these new residents are expected to settle in Coquitlam. It's going to be a challenge for our physical and social infrastructure. I've already been working hard as your representative on City Council to make sure that our roads, our housing choices, and our recreational and other social choices and services will be ready to meet this unexpected and unprecedented growth. Let's keep it going and let me continue to work the work your council has started. On Saturday, November 19th, please cast your vote for experience and vision. Vote Doug MacDonell.
Thank you, Mr. MacDonell. Mr. Mandarino.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maxwell Mandarino, and I'm asking for your support to be your next city councilor. Many people have asked why I want to do this. Why would I want to go through the punishment of lies, deceits, cheating, and plenty of backstabbing? Politics is ruthless. As one councilor pointed out to me, that it's a blood sport. And from what I've seen over the last 3 years, entering the octagon with a professional MMA fighter seems to be more enticing than entering the chamber. But rather than sit on the sidelines and complain, I've decided to roll up my sleeves and take action. Now, by no stretch of the imagination am I a politician. What I am is a concerned resident. Like many residents that I spoke to, they feel the same way. They feel the same way I do. Taxpayer is neglected. Procedure and red tape seem to take precedence over the needs and wants of residents. When elected, I will make this one of my priorities to change the culture. One of my implementations that I'm looking at is our taxes. Taxes are just getting out of control. One of the things that I want to do is implement a tax freeze until spending within the 4 walls of City Hall are controlled. But in order to control them, we need to know what they are. I have looked at the budget, presented, and to me, nor to an outside expert, doesn't make any sense. A councillor candidate here tonight has asked a question at a committee meeting about some of the costs to these committees, and no one had the answers. As a small business owner myself, I know the great deal of importance of being fiscally responsible. Our financial state with this we can start with to address the tax issue. Money allocation from here. I am certain we begin saving taxpayer money and no more tax increases if where the savings are found.
Thank you, Mr. Mandarino. Mr. Nicholson, please.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Councillor Neal Nicholson. I'm asking you to re-elect me on November the 19th. I've served on council since 2007. During that time, I've gone on my 40-year-plus accounting career to help council and staff find cost-saving solutions. When re-elected, I'll renew my commitment to ensuring our council is fiscally responsible and accountable. I'm proud of my community involvement. Over the years, I've contributed my financial expertise across our community to Douglas College, the Coquitlam Heritage Society, St. Lawrence Church, and others. My list of the most important things facing our city: first, city taxes. As an accountant, I know how to find savings. As your city councillor, I'll analyze the budget to look for solutions. We have to close the gap between residential and business taxes much faster than we have been. Transit and the environment, we're again promised the Evergreen Line, but when? I'll keep the pressure on TransLink to deliver what's been so long promised. You can count on me to advocate for more buses right now and good bus connections to the Evergreen Line when it gets here. I'll work to protect our environment, including our tree cover, maintain our air and water quality. Affordable housing. We need affordable housing in Coquitlam. We need affordable living in Coquitlam. I care deeply about our residents and the businesses that we all depend on. I'm ready to serve you again to keep our council accountable, to maintain a healthy and vibrant community. November 19th, please re-elect me, Neal Nicholson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholson. Mr. ONeill, please.
Thanks, Barrie. My name is Terry ONeill, and I am running for a seat on City Council. You can read all about my involvement in the community and my professional background by picking up a pamphlet in the lobby or going to my website. Because time is short, I would like to get right down to business and talk about what I think is the most important issue facing Coquitlam: what to do about the unsustainably high rate of city spending and the high rate of property tax growth that it causes. Talk to the average homeowner or business owner, and you quickly learn that this is issue number one, and it grows even more important by the day as the economy around the globe continues to falter. You might have heard that Finance Minister Jim Flaherty released his fall economic update this morning. He made it very clear. Our country's economy is still weak. He warned that the European sovereign debt and banking crisis poses a significant risk to the global economy and will lead to slower growth here. His government will have to adjust. What about our government here in Coquitlam? Over the past several years, the city has boosted property taxes to fund spending that is higher than we can afford. One result is that public sector wages have soared even as private sector ones stagnated. Given this record, can we trust council to do the right thing and reduce the rate of spending and tax increases? Can we trust the incumbents to make, if they're re-elected, to make fair and balanced decisions at the bargaining table to control our rapidly growing expenses? I am committed to responsible budgeting. That's why I signed the CFIB's taxpayer pledge to support a municipal auditor general to cap spending increases and to lower the job-killing gap between business and homeowner tax rates. There is a big job ahead, and I'm ready to take it on. My name is Terry O'Neill, and I would be honored to receive your vote on November 19th.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Mrs. Reid, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Reid. I have been your city councillor for many years. My background and qualifications are detailed in my brochure and on my website. My brochure is in the lobby. This last term has been a very challenging time. Notwithstanding the growing recessionary times throughout the world, we are also facing a lot of increasing costs for our very basic core services from Metro Vancouver. Transportation costs are frankly out of sight and not sustainable. In my opinion, TransLink, as it is structured right now, simply does not work. Planning our city's financial future is a huge challenge, but with the Evergreen Line seemingly coming to fruition, we also have huge opportunities to grow our business and industry to provide much-needed jobs for our citizens. Growth, both residential and business, needs to be achieved with the ever-present knowledge that we are all, residential and business, taxed to the limit. This term, I would like to challenge the province to look at the legislation that controls our taxation and give us some leeway on the way our taxation system works, and some new revenue sources that we may be able to apply. Hopefully this municipal auditor will be able to assist me. I wonder about that. This term, I also hope to place my emphasis on economic development. We are finally now poised to be able to take advantage of our considerable assets. I hope to draw more attention to arts, culture, and sports opportunities as tourism drivers, and as always continue to pressure the government about the beautiful Riverview lands, our heritage and our future, which at one time provided approximately 2,000 jobs in our community and certainly could again. I have excellent negotiating skills, I have connections, energy, and most importantly, experience to work on your behalf. I would be honored by your support again on November 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Reid. Mrs. Reimer, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Linda Reimer, and I'm currently a Coquitlam City Councillor and running for re-election. I'm a longtime resident of Coquitlam, having lived here for 30 years and raising 2 sons with my husband Les. I have developed a reputation as a strong advocate for the residents of Coquitlam and would like the opportunity to continue to bring a fresh new perspective to Coquitlam Council. I believe City Hall needs to continue to promote, endorse, and approve plans for economic development, with a focus on giving residents more opportunities to live, work, play, and learn in this community. This not only allows us more important time to spend with our families and our community, but it most certainly reduces stress levels associated with commuting and our carbon footprint. To that end, the TransLink Mayor's Council on October 7th passed a budget supplement that allows our long-awaited Evergreen Line to go ahead after years of uncertainty. My plan for economic development calls for streamlined processes at City Hall to make it easier for businesses, investors, and citizens to do business here. During my first term, we have begun these processes, but still have much work to do. Our careful review of budgeting processes and project management have led to the successful completion of our Poirier Sports Centre under budget and ahead of schedule. I've recently signed the Canadian Federation of Independent Business Pledge, which calls for the narrowing of the gap between business and residential taxes, support for reasonable municipal spending, and support for the newly proposed Municipal Auditor General position. A council that focuses on jobs, low taxes, and the environment will best serve Coquitlam residents. I've served as DPAC chair. I'm an honorary member of that organization. I'm a Coquitlam Rotarian, and I have served the public interest as a 4-year board member of the BC College of Teachers. I'm a graduate of Simon Fraser University in Business and Criminology. I hope on November 19th you will consider casting your vote for me, Linda Reimer, and providing me the opportunity to continue to serve.
Thank you, Ms. Reimer.
Thank you.
Mr. Rizmani, please.
Greetings, my name is Smiley and I'm a new candidate for Coquitlam City Council. I would like to thank you, all of you, for being here. When my wife and I arrived in Canada years ago, we fell in love with the natural beauty and cultural diversity of the city of Coquitlam and chose to build our new life in this magnificent city. The scenic Luffridge Lake, picturesque trails and parks, richness and diversity of life, and the importance placed on sports and arts were among the factors that distinguish Coquitlam from elsewhere in Lower Mainland for us. Having all these remarkable resources, though, we both believe Coquitlam is yet to achieve its fullest potential, both in economic development and increased quality of life for its residents. We are already picturing Coquitlam, a modernized, vibrant city, yet affordable for families to live in, businesses to operate from. As a young couple, we stand up for our beliefs and work hard to make dreams come true. As a high-tech smart home automation technology company operator, an electrical engineer, a human resource management professional, and a former program manager in non-for-profit social service sector, I truly understand the needs of both business and the community. As an elected councillor, I will use proactive and innovative approaches to handle Coquitlam civic matters. My top priorities while serving our community will be efficient and effective uses of tax dollars, fostering an environment that supports small business, transforming Coquitlam into a tourist destination and livelier city for us residents, taking a leading role in promoting multicultural developments, working toward having affordable housing options, timely progression of Evergreen Line project and improvement of transit system, working collaboratively with our two neighbor cities, emphasis on safety and crime prevention, and preserving and protection of our natural resources. To learn more about me and my plans or to share with me your ideas for tomorrow's Coquitlam, please visit my website at www.arazismani.ca. Thank you, and I look forward to having your trust and support on November 19, and then I'll play some piano for you right here at Evergreen.
Thank you, Mr. Rizmani. Ms. Robinson, please.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this. My name is Selena Robinson, and I'm running for Coquitlam City Council, and I ask you to re-elect me on November 19th. I believe that I can contribute to making Coquitlam a stronger, safer, and more sustainable community. I have lived and contributed to Coquitlam for 17 years. With my first term on council under my belt, I've continued to demonstrate a passion for building a stronger community with an ability to work productively and collaboratively. I volunteer on many community committees, including the Chamber's Membership Committee. My experience working for Share Family and Community Services for over 20 years has prepared me well for my role on council. As a senior level manager in the nonprofit sector for 8 years, I have the necessary skills required for managing tight budgets and trimming excess expenditures. As a self-employed family therapist, I have strong marketing skills, good listening advocacy skills, and I can bring people together to work toward a common goal. I've been speaking to residents in our community to find out what matters most to them. People are concerned about taxes. They want good service, low user fees, and careful spending. And businesses want to see a more supportive tax environment and better business collaboration with our neighboring communities. Another issue that concerns our residents is our anticipated growth. Coquitlam is expected to absorb between 70 and 100,000 more people over the next 15 to 20 years. I want to make sure that we manage growth in a way that is sustainable, that we protect enough green space, that we have enough infrastructure to support growth, that we have a sound economic development plan that makes Coquitlam more business-friendly and generates local employment opportunities, and that we preserve our quality of life for all Coquitlam residents. I continue to be the right choice for Coquitlam City Council. After only 3 years on council, I bring a fresh perspective and an understanding now of how City Hall works. I believe in collaboration, accessible government, livability, and accountability. You can learn more about my platform details on my website, selenarobinson.ca, or you can join me at my next fireside chat on Thursday, November 17th between 7 and 8 p.m. at the library in front of the fireplace, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Sikora, please.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight. You know, the most important thing in our city here today is taxes, taxes, and more taxes. We've lost 50 businesses just this year because they cannot afford our taxes. And some of them are pretty huge companies that moved out. You know, there's a trucking company that had 80 employees that moved to Langley. They can't afford. There's another company that moved out to Annacis Island. And here he was paying $100,000 a year in taxes. And Annacis Island, he's got 2.5 acres, 40,000 square foot building. He's paying $36,000 for taxes. So, you know, and just in my own place, our taxes went up this year by 13.5%. So, you know, where's this 3.49%? Anyways, like here just a couple of weeks ago, we had a council meeting, and Andy Shin, who's sitting next to me, asked a question. He served on a committee. And he said, what does my committee cost the city in taxes? Nobody could answer. There's not a single person on a council table that could answer him. Neither could the Treasury, not anybody else could answer him. Now, that's the way we do business, you know. Certainly that, you know, every 3 years, we've had a new mayor. In the past number of years, when I was the mayor, Mayor Christmas and Mayor Jim Tunn, we had 58 years of service, and 2 of us resigned to do other things. And so now there's every 3 years, there's a new mayor. And why? Because they're dissatisfied of the mayor's office. We don't get leadership. We don't get the tax, you know, anybody that can set the taxes properly. We don't work by the mill rate. We set the taxes in December, which is totally wrong time to do. And if this continues, ladies and gentlemen, you'll never be able to level off the taxes in this city. On November 19th, vote for Lou Sikora. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sikora. Mr. Shannon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you today for taking the time out of your busy lives to join us here today. My name is Andy Shannon. This is my second time running in the general election. When it comes to being a councillor, it's not about whether or not you've ran a business for 30 years or whether or not you served on many organizations. It's about serving the people, bringing fresh ideas, and making a sound decision during council meetings. I am proud today to announce that I was one of the few candidates in Coquitlam and the first to sign the CFIB taxpayer pledge along with Councillor Reimer. What does this pledge mean? It means that I am on your side. I am committed to fair taxes, spending restraints, and fiscal accountability. This is important in Coquitlam as we have one of the highest tax rates in the Metro Vancouver. How will I do this? We need a municipal auditor. We need a blue ribbon committee composed of residents and businesses making recommendations to council on how the city can save money and how we can generate revenue. It will also identify ideas on how we can cut red tape. It took almost a year for the McDonald's on Barnett Highway to complete the renovation application. This is 1 year of uncertainty and 1 year of wasted money. When you operate your business in Coquitlam, you do not want to worry about uncertainty. You do not want to be worrying about how high your property taxes will be going up. You shouldn't. You want to focus on making a profit, hiring more employees, and most importantly, spend more time with your family, or even go on that vacation you've been planning on for weeks. You want to have everything under control, and that is why I'm running for City Council of Coquitlam, and I hope I can count on your support on November 19th. Thank you. Or even November 9th, tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Shen. Mr. Sufi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fred Sufi, owner of the Pasta Polo. I have been a small business owner-operator for the past 30 years. I'm here tonight with Mary, my wife, a nurse who we have been married for past 26 years. Have a daughter who is a student at McGill University. I have been a member of the Tri-City Chamber of Commerce for several years and on the board for 1 term. Also on the advisory committee on LRT and multicultural advisory committee. Being a volunteer and community advocate for many organizations, including Footprint, Tri-City Homelessness Task Force, SHARE, Pocomo Youth, Art Connect, Amnesty International, and many others. I was encouraged by community to run for this election as a person who has 30 years of successful business background and also a person who has unique mix of strong business skill and concern for social issues. With my experience in the business and a strong activist in the community, I can bring that needed balance to the council. I am an independent candidate. I was offered but not accepted any funding from labor or developer or builder. The evergreen is coming, it is good, but we have to deal with the challenges and be sure to prevent what happened to the businesses at United Boulevard during the construction, where so many businesses were so negatively impacted. Crime affects all of us, and I don't have time, but I believe council must be accessible, and integrity, accountability, and citizen engagement is very vital to the council. Thank you. I think I don't have time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sufi. Mr. Wiki, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andy Wiki, a resident of Coquitlam for the past 22 years. Serving my community is important to me. In addition to sitting on 3 different boards in the Tri-Cities, I'm also a member of the Multicultural Advisory Committee of BC, a volunteer with RCMP Speed Watch program. My goal is to make Coquitlam an even more desirable place for families to work, live, and raise their children. To meet this goal, I will focus on fiscal responsibility and economic development. While we witness our neighboring communities grow rapidly and outstrip Coquitlam, we have remained a bedroom community. It is about time that we wake up and compete for our fair share of business. My vision is to transform Coquitlam to an urban center in the next decade. As your councillor, I will create a business-friendly climate and restore investor confidence to create a larger industrial and commercial revenue base. With the arrival of Evergreen Line, I will promote tourism, an office market, and a world-class hotel in the city center. My campaign slogan is working in partnership for results. Together we can make Coquitlam a beacon of prosperity. I look forward to working with you, with the council, and the investment community to make that happen. I ask for your vote on November 19th. Andy Wiki.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wiki. Mr. Woo.
All right. My name is Binson Woo, and I'm running for Coquitlam City Council. I have lived in beautiful Laurentian Heights for the past 15 years. I raised 2 kids. And as a long-time resident and active volunteer in Coquitlam, I have been appointed as the member of the Coquitlam Mayor's Multiculturalism Advisory Committee and Economic Development Committee. I have been working hard in our community to make Coquitlam a better place to live and work. Speaking of feedback to my community, I have volunteered in many local organizations and groups, such as Canadian Cancer Society, Special OBC, and the Coquitlam Foundation. I also sit as the director of Tri-City Asian Parent Association. I have frequently participated in city-sponsored public workshop, roundtable, and the town hall meeting. I listen and discuss with engaged citizens, and I know the issue and care about municipal governing. If elected, I am committed to carrying on accountability and transparency. At City Hall, I will bring fresh idea and positive approach based on shared community value. I'm confident I can represent fresh voice for all residents of Coquitlam. I have a passion and keen interest in addressing the public issue, such as sustainability, economic well-being, and the transportation, civic engagement, diversity, and inclusiveness. I believe I can make positive contribution and help to, develop a diverse, strong, and healthy community right here in Coquitlam. On November 19, I'm asking you to vote for Binson Woo.
Thank you, Mr. Woo.
Thank you.
We will now start to ask the candidates some of the questions that have come from the floor. And I remind the candidates again that you have a minute to respond to these questions. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Mr.